It was a dark and stormy night as I stood with my son waiting for his plane's departure call. He was in the army and was headed to Germany and parts unknown. When his plane was called, we hugged tightly and I gave him a kiss on the cheek and with a tear in my eye turned towards the airport exit. As I exited the airport, I was immediately set upon by three individuals led by a man in fatigues, a black mask, and no ID, who raised his hand to stop me as he spoke. "Sir, you'll have to come with us," he stated quite flatly. "For what reason?" I demanded to know. "You were observed having physical contact with a member of your own sex and displaying affection with a kiss for a member of your own sex in a public setting. That's not allowed." "That was my son, you idiot. He's in the army and headed for war," I exclaimed in anger. "Your son has been redirected to Guantanamo Bay for conversion therapy." I stood silently stunned, unable to make sense of anything, as I noticed the man's eyes, for a moment, dropping in sadness, and he moved slowly to my side and put his arm on my shoulder. Leaning in, he whispered, barely audibly, "I'm sorry, sir." But no sooner had those words left his lips when he was set upon by the two other men with him. They grabbed his arms, pulled them behind him, and said, "Sir, you are under arrest for having physical contact with a member of your own sex. You need to come with us." I didn't wait for the moment they moved to place him in cuffs and into the car. I slowly stepped back and disappeared into the darkness. Hello, listeners, and welcome. This is the Boogeyman Report, your official site for news from the left-wing, liberal, radical Democrats, where each episode we're going to talk about truth, justice, and the American way. Let's get started, shall we? The truth. The truth is, folks, is that our younger generation, your youth, the youth of today's America, has been and is continuing to be preyed upon and being sold a giant bill of absolute hatred by enemies of freedom and democracy, both foreign and domestic. And it all occurs right on your own couch, and at the dining table, and in the car, and at the very moment of day and night. Truth Social, nothing more than hatred place. X is nothing more than a phishing site for racism, identity theft, lies, and conspiracy theories. Psychotics and state-funded terrorists from around the globe are providing a microsecond by microsecond deluge of conspiracies, anti-democracy, and hate messages for your children to consume. If you think this isn't true, listen on. The truth is that today I call upon Donald John Trump, Congress, and the FBI to designate the Young Republicans group as a Nazi, terrorist, hate group, and organization. To say that the Boogeyman is incensed today after seeing the thousands of private messages leaked from the Young Republicans and obtained by the media would be as mild of an epithet as I could summon. Let me be clear here. I will share some of the 29,000 racist, vile, and violent messages gathered from their chats and now made public for all America and the world to see. All of the following are direct text quotes from the Young Republican Telegram chat. "Everyone that votes no is going to get the gas chamber." "Great. I love Hitler. We're under official consideration for a Trump endorsement. I'm ready to watch people burn now. I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch a monkey play ball. If we ever had a leak, this chat would be cooked." He also hates Jews. "I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man." They refer to blacks as monkeys and watermelon people. They muse about putting political opponents in gas chambers. They glee at raping their enemies or driving them to suicide, and they support a full-throated slavery. All of this spans a time frame of more than 7 months and involves members from New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. The truth is, folks, are we surprised? Were we not warned that Trump supported the radical right if it would get him the vote and power? Did you think the Republican movement towards violent radicalism and racial hatred was a joke? Trump likes to say it's the radical Democrats, and all the while he knows, in fact, that it is the radical Republicans and Maga who are leading the hate, the bigotry, the loathing, the disgusting rhetoric, and the violent physical and mental torture drool fest. Power hungry with hate and fear. I can only assume that these are the people who are joining ICE. KKK members being told, hey, tired of wearing sheets and standing in cornfields all night? Well, join ICE. Get paid for what you love and get a swell new uniform. And don't forget the sign-up bonus. $10,000 for the first person you tonk unconscious. Good God, America, wake up. Your country, your youth, is under attack from within and without, and it's your job to start looking beyond your pathetic little party loyalties, both left and right, and start asking yourself, who will be left to speak out when they come for me? Americans, all Americans, left, right, middle, MAGA, must say no to this behavior and ideology. This is not who we are. Put a stop to the banana republic Trump and his maniacal rich cronies and foreign dictators are trying to foist upon your very lies. Imagine if George Washington had waited one more day to cross the Delaware. We would have no country. If Americans wait one more day to cross the river into sanity and awareness, we will have no democracy. And that's the truth. Justice. The Boogeyman's Boogie Justice Award today recognizes its newest recipient, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican from Georgia and a fanatical Trumper and MAGA member. That's right, folks. Greene has in fact gone rogue. She's crossed over to the dark side and spoken truth. Greene went rogue recently on the Tim Dillon podcast, where she blasted the GOP and Speaker Johnson over the Epstein files, health care, and other issues. Greene, who represents an incredibly poor and welfare-laden district in Georgia, has been deluged by her constituents after the shutdown. They are going to starve in her district. And now she is facing full frontal MAGA justice as a rhino, a traitor, and everything else in the book. We can only assume that once the young Republicans get a hold of her, they'll spare nothing to see that she is properly re-educated and put in her place as a woman. Now that's justice. Well done, Marge. The American Way. In 1776, Americans, tired of being suppressed and subjugated by a tyrannical king who sat on a golden throne, revolted. That's the American way. This revolt brought about the most free and powerful society ever created on this planet, a place where you're free to work, free to talk, free from repression and fear, free from a tyrant who used force, fear, hatred, and dictatorial suppression on the American people. The American way is to stand up to hate, stand up to lies, stand up to conspiracy theories, stand up to kings, and stand up for freedom. Today, the American way is under serious threat from both foreign and domestic enemies, including our own president, who would see our 250-year struggle for the very air we breathe end. It's being attacked by the very leader who lied, cheated, and rigged an election to get to the power he craved. A despot who believes he who has the gold rules, and he intends to assure everyday Americans know he has the gold, and it is he who rules, not we the people. Folks, this is not the American way, and we must say no to the man who would be king and his fascist minion. As I say goodnight, I want to thank you for taking the time to stop by and take another listen. It's important that we the people continue to drown out the political noise so full of hatred and false divisions and start listening to the people that really mean the most to us in our lives, each other. It's time we pushed back together as one America, and I want to help that happen with truth, justice, and the American way. And I promise you this, I will never disappear into the darkness and let them take you away, even if we don't agree. That is the American way. Until next time, peace out from just another left-wing liberal radical Democrat. And please don't forget to click subscribe and tell 2 friends so you never miss an episode of The Boogeyman Report.